Well, hello there again, friends and family. So good to see you again this evening. And what we're going to talk about tonight is all the food recalls. Yeah, the shocking news that you see all over mainstream media and social media too. But they're in everything. They're in our produce, lettuce mixes. They're in our fruit from cantaloupes. They're even in our fresh meats and canned ones too. And then, of course, all the food recalls that we've seen in processed foods, from cheeses to dairy products to whatever you can think of. It seems to be a never-ending continuation of food recalls in the U.S. But where do you go to keep up with it all? Do you depend on mainstream media or social media to get your information too? Well, I would like to say that they're all timely about getting the information out. But sometimes, or many times, the information they give, depending on who you watch and who you listen to, may be rather old, and you're not prepared, and you're still eating food that could cause you grave health consequences. So let me show you what I do, where I keep up with it, and you can do this too, on a daily basis if you want to. So here we are at the first site that I rely on and go to. I don't always rely on mainstream media to give me the most pertinent information or all the facts, because sometimes it's out of context and it's agenda and belief driven. Such is true even in social media, depending on their beliefs and agenda too. I come here to the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. Oh yeah, the FDA. I know it's the government, but that's where they get it all too. So if you want, I'll leave a link to this website in the description below the video where you can bookmark it, save it in your phone, save it on your computer or tablet. So you can check it each and every day, or multiple times if you're really concerned. So yeah, it's the U.S. Food and Drug Administration recalls, market withdrawals, and safety alerts. And we're just going to scroll on down. And you're going to see here on 3/11/2024, the brand name is listed, Westco Foods. The product description is listed, mint no-bake cookies, product type, food and beverages. Recall reason and description, undeclared peanut allergen. So they didn't disclose there was actually peanuts in the mint no-bake cookies. And it's made by Westco Incorporated. But one that's been of concern here of late that I've heard about, not only on mainstream media but social media too, is ground cinnamon and cinnamon powder, which that first hit the scene on 3/7/2024. And the brand name was Swad. It was a cinnamon powder. It comes under the product type food and beverages, potential metal contaminant, lead. Yes sir, lead. And it's made by Raja Foods LLC. So let's take a look at that one first. So you just click right here on SWAD and it'll bring you to this. And it's going to give you the company announcement. Like it says here, Raja Foods LLC of Skokie, Illinois is recalling 3.5 ounce packages of Swad cinnamon powder because it has the potential to be contaminated with lead. And then it goes into what short-term exposure to very low levels of lead may not elicit any symptoms. It goes through all of that. And you can read it when I give you the link to this site. But it also shows you the product photos. This is what it's going to look like. So if you got it in your cupboard or pantry or kitchen or wherever, you can take a look and see if you've got it too. As you can see, it just so happens Raja Foods and this cinnamon is a product of India. Of course, cinnamon does not come from the U.S., so don't be surprised that it's a product of India. Let's take a look at the next one that came out on March the 8th, 2024, and that's the La Fiesta. ground cinnamon right here. And this one is more widespread. It gives you the same explanation of why it's being recalled. Short-term exposures to very low lead level may lead. And then it gives you the same explanation as the other one did. Short-term exposures to very low levels of lead may not elicit any symptoms. It's possible that increased blood level may be only apparent sign of lead exposure. And it goes on to describe much, much more. But what if we wanted to know a lot more? Like what brands? What stores? Where do we come up with that? Well, that we'll have to go to another website for you to know. So the second website is also on the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. And it's under alerts, advisories, and safety information. And I'll leave a link to this as well, so you can check it out too and stay up to date and informed. You don't have to rely on mainstream media or social media too. And here's a category: food, beverages, and dietary supplements. You just click on the little down arrow. And right here you'll see the first one on the list. FDA alert concerning certain cinnamon products due to the presence of elevated levels of lead, March 2024. So you just click on that. And it tells you what is the problem. Through product testing, the FDA has determined that ground cinnamon products listed in the table below contain elevated levels of lead, that prolonged exposure to these products may be unsafe. The FDA is advising consumers to throw away and not buy these ground cinnamon products. The FDA has recommended that firms voluntarily recall these products, with the exception of the MTCI cinnamon. The FDA has been unable to reach MTCI to share our findings and requests that the company initiate a recall. The FDA will update this notice with the communications from firms that voluntarily agree to recall as we receive them. And then it gives a list of the products with far more information than what the first USDA site did. You can see right here. It'll give the distributor, the retailer, the brand names, the lot codes, the lead concentration, part per million, and it even gives a product image, so you'll know if it's in your pantry, kitchen, or cabinet too. And the first one here is La Fiesta Food Products, La Miranda, California. And it's got 2.73 parts per million lead concentration. The second one is Moran Foods, LLC, from St. Anne, Missouri. And it's sold at Save-A-Lot. Brand names are Markham. And it gives you the best buy dates. And it shows you the lead levels in it as well, from 2.9 parts per million to 3.20. And here's the MTCI, Santa Fe Springs, California. SF Supermarkets. No codes, but it had levels of 2.99, might as well round to 3, of lead in it. Raja Foods, LLC. Skokie, Illinois. Patel Brothers. SWAD is the brand name. It gives the lot code and gives you also the parts per million of 2.12. Then here is one that is more widely distributed and may be of major concern, especially if you shop Dollar Tree, Family Dollar, and what have you. And that's Greenbrier International Incorporated out of Chesapeake, Virginia. And the product name is Supreme Tradition. And it's got several best buy dates listed here. It also gives you the different lead levels to the right. And lastly, it's El Shilar out of Opa, Florida. La Jolla Morelines, Baltimore, Michigan. I'm sure I'm not saying all that right. But it gives the lot codes, and then it also gives the lead levels. Then it gives you recommendations. The FDA is advising consumers to stop using and dispose of these products. Consumers should not eat, sell, or serve ground cinnamon products listed in the table above and should discard them. These products have a long shelf life. Consumers should check their homes and discard these products. If there's a suspicion that someone has been exposed to elevated levels of lead, talk to your healthcare provider. Most people have no obvious immediate symptoms of lead exposure. So there you have it. And I'm just using the cinnamon as the latest one. But this keeps you up to date. You don't got to rely on mainstream media, which is my point, as I tell many of my friends and family, or social media to your favorite talking head. Like I say, it could be days late or even weeks to a month by the time it all filters down. So by all means, I'll leave both of these sites and links to them in the description below the video. Let me know if you're concerned about food recalls and just how you get your information daily to keep you abreast and keep you and your family healthy as we all try to struggle on. So there you have it, folks. I hope you got some information out of all this, and now you know where to go if it's a concern to you. With that, I'll say good night.